her a spoon, she's happy to wrap it in something.
Where it says my name? That's why I'm sitting next to you. Where's the judge?
Right here, next to me. Yep. Okay, we will call this meeting to order. I'm not quite as authoritative with my gavel as Amy is with the spoon, but that's okay. Welcome, everyone. It is another great day in Christopher Newport because we have our president-select present with us today at the Board of Visitors meeting. I just want to thank everyone in the gallery for being here today. I want to thank you for being there yesterday to make history with us. This history is not being made by the Board of Visitors. It is being made by everyone on this campus, all of our captains for life near and far, and the rest of our captains community. So thank you all for being there yesterday. Thank you for playing a part in the future success of our president-select, because his success is the success of this university. And as I said yesterday, we chase victories and we exude excellence. And we don't expect anything differently in the days ahead, but that's going to require all of us, shoulder to shoulder, to prop him up and support him in any way that he may need. So thank you all. And with that, we will go ahead and proceed to the business of the meeting. Terry McKnight is going to serve as the acting secretary today because Christy Morton could not be with us. So Terry, thank you. The first order of business is to approve the minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes of the board meeting that was held on November 18th? I will take that as a yes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as they've been presented?
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any opposed? All in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The December 2nd, 2022 Board of Visitors Announcement Committee meeting, those minutes are just to be approved by Larry Pope, Lee Vreeland, and myself. That was the first step of our journey, Admiral Kelly, to get to Virginia Beach. I've just now disclosed to you the magic location. We'll give you a little bit of hints along the way now that he's sitting here. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Announcement Committee?
I'll move that one.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Are either of you opposed to your own motion? Thank you. I'm so glad. Please signal your approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, December 11th through the 14th, where the first step of history was made. And that was when we unanimously approved Admiral Kelly as the 6th president of Christopher Newport. Has everyone had an opportunity to review those minutes? Do I have a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Everyone, yes, so moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any opposed? Please say aye to signal your approval.
Aye.
Thank you. And with that, we will turn to Madam President for the President's report.
Thank you, Madam Rector. We're now 6 months into this academic year of interim at Christopher Newport and 3 weeks into the new spring semester. When last we were together, the Presidential Search Committee delivered a roster of finalists to this board and set upon the task of selecting the 6th president for Christopher Newport University. We began that mission with the full trust and faith of this Christopher Newport family because you are members of this family. You are leaders who know us well, who love us, and embraced fully the incredible, joyful responsibility of finding the next right leader for this marvelous place, and you found him. You found them. And we could not be more hopeful and delighted as we welcome him and his beautiful wife and family to this family. Lindsay, we are so grateful for your leadership of this board during this defining moment, and to all of you for the extraordinary gifts of time and care and discernment that you have invested in this decision and in this university. Thank you. President Kelly, Admiral Kelly, Bill, and Mrs. Kelly, Angie, welcome back and welcome home. We are so glad that you are here. President Kelly, before I dive into the business report of this university, may I impose on you to offer a word?
Madam President, it would be my honor. Madam Rector, thank you for the opportunity to join the board and members of our community. My wife Angie and I are just honored and privileged to be here with you today. I look forward to listening and learning today and in the days and weeks ahead. And I challenge and I ask each and every one of you to help us show up as our best self on July 1st. And then we will promise to roll up our sleeves and work with the board and work with our Christopher Newport community to do our very best to chase victories and exude excellence. I'm taking notes, man.
Drivers. And you know what? Our captains are really great drivers. And he left the car in the best of hands. This university family has never once taken its collective foot off the gas. Because that's how captains do interim. So it is my great honor to offer the proof of that happy claim, and you will hear more proof in the details that will be offered by the committee reports today. But first, I'd like to turn to our esteemed provost down here at the end of the table, Quentin Kidd, to share some marvelous news about a wonderful honor afforded two of our remarkable faculty.
Thank you, Madam President. The State Council for Higher Education annually recognizes excellent faculty across the university, across the Commonwealth, both public and private universities, so dozens and dozens of universities. They give out 12 awards. They're called Outstanding Faculty Awards. And so of those 12 awards this year, 2 of those are CNU awardees. And so can I ask Dr. Kelly Cartwright and Dr. Margarita Marinova to stand? Dr. Cartwright is a psychology professor. Dr. Marinova is an English professor. They are 2 of the 12 awardees this year in Virginia. Literally 2 of the best 12 in Virginia right now.
The best 2.
The best 2.
Well, we're very proud, and we've had others from this place that have won this award as well, but it is a top honor, and it couldn't go to 2 better folks. We're so proud for you. And I understand that Academic Affairs also has news of some important searches, and I gather by the rather stunning number of resolutions coming from your committee that the Faculty Research Grants Award coming our way in record numbers, that excellence continues to be the watchword guiding our faculty and is at the very heart of the academic experience on this campus, and we thank you. And some additional outside-in affirmation of that excellence never hurts. In the past week, we received notice that CNU once again received a perfect A grade from ACTA, the American Council of Trustees and Alumni, for the rigor of our core liberal arts curriculum. Now, for context, out of 1,135 schools, public and private, surveyed across the country, only 22 institutions nationwide received an A. And Christopher Newport is the only public institution in higher education in America to receive that perfect A. Quentin, faculty, we couldn't be prouder. Liberal arts core curriculum that means our students leave us really ready to do and be anything and to understand how they fit in the world throughout their lives. In admission, it's that time of year when the countdown begins for our admission team, and in the weeks ahead, the on and off campus events are many as we work to encourage more applications and, of course, most importantly, to turn those applications into students who enroll as captains. Last Saturday and tomorrow, we host the recruitment events that focus specifically on students interested in the President's leadership and honors programs. We have attendance rivaling our record numbers pre-COVID, and we're grateful that Chancellor Tribble will be the featured speaker at those events as the founder of the PLP program. More on admission news from Lee Reland and Rob Lane shortly, but the numbers across the board are encouraging even at this early stage in the deposit process. So hopes are high and so's the energy level as we sprint full tilt toward that all-important May 1st deposit deadline. In student life and student success, Lee and Kevin Hughes and Lisa Duncan Rains will offer more in their reports, but a couple points to share up front. The activities surrounding the celebration of the 25th anniversary of the President's Leadership Program, we lovingly call it PLP, continue to unfold for current students and for alumni of this flagship program. The jewel in the crown of that anniversary will happen April 18 and 19 in Northern Virginia. A series of events for admission, advancement, and alumni relations, all built around a major leadership symposium for which all alumni and their business connections will be the audience. Kevin Hughes announced at the last board meeting that we received a grant from the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia, which allowed us to significantly increase the capacity in our counseling office. That support is already making a huge difference in the life of our students, and as this board requested, Kevin's going to offer an in-depth report on mental health on our campus at the April meeting. Student success programs continue to serve our students in record numbers as the instructional and financial needs and desire for internships and professional opportunities after graduation have continued to grow post-pandemic. Student success coaches are operating at full capacity, tutoring schedules are filled, and our career planning team is operating at full throttle. Tuesday is our 12th annual signing day for our sophomore students, that marvelous day when students actually sign on the dotted line in the presence of the faculty who will be their guides in the major that they have chosen. It's become a big deal here and has added real significance to the sophomore student experience. And an update on our Community Captains program, our very special partnership with the Newport News Public Schools and the city launched in the fall of 2018. We're now in the process of recruiting the 5th cohort from current high school sophomores at all the city schools. The students who were in our 1st and 2nd cohorts who chose to come to CNU for their college experience are thriving here, and they're really becoming our best messengers about this program to their other students and families. And cohort 3 are now high school seniors making their college decisions, and we're hopeful a number of them will enroll here, but as always, we intend for this program to make them successful wherever they choose to go to school, and to make the navigation of the college search process a little less overwhelming for them and for their families. And excellence continues in the world of captains athletics. All of our fall sports made it all the way to tournament play, and right now, our women's basketball team is ranked #1 in the nation in Division III NCAA athletics, and they are undefeated. And our men are ranked #4 nationally. And all of our spring sports are getting cranked up: softball, baseball, golf, tennis, track and field, and lacrosse. And in fact, our men's lacrosse team will start their season ranked #2 in the nation. Go Captains. In the arts, this university has really become, in essence, the centerpiece for cultural life for this region, with the Ferguson Center at one end of the magnificent colonnade and the Torgler at the other. We celebrate the role that we now play in bringing the arts to life, and we joyfully accept the responsibility that comes with that too. The Ferguson season has already relaunched after a wonderful series of holiday performances, and this spring we will welcome the likes of Broadway legend Bernadette Peters, The Temptations, and the Four Tops, and Michael Feinstein, whom I believe Bruce takes the stage tonight, singing the hits of Judy Garland. And Broadway shows upcoming include Annie and Legally Blonde. At the Torgler, the current offering in the Anne Nolan Edwards Main Gallery is Ansel Adams' Compositions in Nature, which will be with us until the first week of March. And if you haven't seen this, give yourself the gift of time well spent and go take a look. It's a marvelous exhibition, and like all the exhibits in that main gallery, it is free at no charge. Next up in the Torgler, a survey of works by Charlottesville-based painter Russ Warren. And simultaneously we'll present a graphic journey prints by Pablo Picasso, an artist whose name is certainly known the world over and whose work provided significant inspiration to Russ Warren. The Torgler is also home to our fine art and art history academic programs, and this spring we will showcase student and faculty work as well, highlighted by the Senior Art Show. And at the heart of the arts on this campus are the performances offered by our incredibly talented students in our theater, musical theater, and music programs. In fact, the spring musical, Head Over Heels, which I think features the music of the Go-Go's. Yep, will open on Friday, February 17, and our wind ensemble will be traveling to Argentina during spring break, the week of March 7th. And here's a little pride point. Our musical theater students were invited last spring to perform at 54 Below, probably the most famous off-Broadway venue in New York. And you don't really get an invitation to do that unless you have the performance chops to deliver, and our kids just blew everybody away. So, they have been invited back. Musical theater professor Colin Ruffer will be taking about 20 of his students to New York for a couple of days of master classes with folks currently working on Broadway. And on Friday night, March 10, the captains will conquer the Big Apple once again as they take the stage at 54 Below. And in the business and government side of our world, the board mandated a compensation study surrounding our AP employees this fall, following a similar study conducted across our classified employees last spring. Bobby Hatton will offer a more detailed report, but the preliminary data from that study is now coming our way, so we will bring our recommendations forward to you this spring. When we met in November, we were awaiting news about what Governor Youngkin might include for Christopher Newport in his budget. You'll hear a report on that from Bobby too, and how our budget requests are progressing with the General Assembly. Bobby, you got a load to carry today, Bobby. Bobby will also report on our active capital projects, but I'm gonna scoop something, Bobby. Sorry about this, although it's not really scooping it because you can see it when you drive down the street. But walls are coming out of the ground on Hayden Boulevard for our new administration building. Johnny, you and your W.M. Jordan magicians are doing your work once again. We're grateful. Having this building come to a reality is really wonderful. Our colleagues in advancement, HR, procurement, foundations, capital deserve to be in this new state-of-the-art building, and it's long overdue. In advancement, as we move through the final months of the fiscal year, I'm grateful to our team in advancement and alumni relations. As Judy Wasson will share in her report, we are right where we would hope to be at this point in the fiscal year, and we have a pipeline full of marvelous pending major gifts and requests that will close before the end of this fiscal year. And with CNU Day ahead in March, the 25th anniversary of PLP afoot, which is also a major fundraising initiative this year, the faculty staff campaign and the senior gift campaign still ahead of us, we are confident that our alumni giving participation will return to the strong levels we enjoyed pre-COVID. Because it really takes engagement through events, campus homecomings, and stories to remind every alum that every gift matters, that every gift really says that I second the motion. I believe I'm an investor in the place that changed me so it can keep on changing others. On Monday afternoon, I had the privilege of visiting with the members of our Lifelong Learning Society. Now, this is a marvelous program that serves individuals of retirement age. I love that. That's a broad brushstroke descriptor, isn't it? And they have been an official arm of Christopher Newport for more than 30 years. Their membership is more than 600 strong, and they come from all across the peninsula and even across the water to participate in the incredible array of courses and trips and events and conferences that Lifelong Learning offers. I know them well because when I first started at CNU, Lifelong Learning reported in for advancement. So I had the privilege and fun of working with them and with their director, Jane Salzberger, and her team. I haven't been so active with them over the last couple of years, so it was a real treat to be with them since their membership is rebounding after COVID. They asked about this year so far, where things stand, and lessons learned. Well, I shared with them some of the high points that I just shared here, and on the lessons learned, well, there have been many, and there will be many more. But two lessons for me outshine all the others. Number one, the absolute excellence of the faculty and staff at this place. I knew they were great before, but this year has afforded me the precious and necessary lens through which to see my colleagues differently. And with that has come gratitude beyond measure for the people they are, for the community that they create and protect, for the compassion they show time and again, and the character that they exhibit, most noticeably when they think no one's looking. These are the kinds of people you only hope to have the honor of serving with in your whole life, and I get to show up and go to school with them every day. Second, I guess, and most of all, the marvelous knowledge that we're a place that is what it seems to be and does what it promises. In a world where that is far, far too often not the case, Christopher Newport is the real thing. And Monday night, After my visit with Lifelong Learning, I went to 2 events hosted by the Wasson Center for Civic Leadership. And that beautiful truth came about shining through anew. You know, the Wasson Center began as the Judy Ford Wasson Center for Public Policy over a decade ago, and it focuses primarily on survey work at that point, surveys that would report and shape public opinion in the Commonwealth around important issues. The center quickly earned respect as a source of unbiased truth, and it became a trusted place for public opinion research, not only for Virginia, but also for the country. Our now provost, Quentin Kidd, was the faculty mastermind that put everything in motion, and his generous and clever partners in creation were Judy Wasson and her husband, Harry. And the kicker was that the center's work was, and still is, done by our students. They worked with Quentin in shaping the questions, they did the calling, they worked on the outcomes assessment that fueled the reports. What an experience for undergraduate students, and what a boon for the Commonwealth. Well, a few years ago, Judy, Harry, and Quentin and Paul Tribble all agreed it was time to spread the center's wings a little further. We hired Tom Kramer, wave Tom, back there, to become the center's director. The name changed to the Wasson Center for Civic Leadership. The Wassons supported generous new scholarships for students who worked in the center who were also doing a second major in leadership studies. And the center launched new programming that would provide students with mentoring, internships, and bring to campus each year 3 distinguished Virginians, individuals who've made a profound impact through their work in the space of public service, who really are civic leaders. These individuals come to campus at least twice a semester, and they speak to our leadership students. They meet in small groups and one-on-one with students, and they guest lecture in classes. Our students receive the gift of real personal interaction with people who are the change makers, and then our students see themselves in those roles in their futures. So Monday night, after my visit with the Lifelong Learners, I went to a Wasson Center board meeting. They have a wonderful advisory group engaging in the programming, fundraising, and outreach opportunities, and Tom always invites some of the Wasson scholars to participate, followed by dinner, honoring this year's distinguished Virginians, which affords those 3 leaders in the Wasson board the chance to meet with and visit with our current Wasson students. During dinner, Tom asked each Wasson scholar to stand, I think there were 17 of them there that night, and tell about themselves and their Wasson experience. And then the magic started. A freshman music education major, also a Wasson scholar, says he loves music, but that politics and policy are really important to him, and he loves being at CNU where he can do both. Learn more about how he can continue doing that throughout his life. A senior political science major, who's now the student manager of the Calling Center, told the story of the first survey she worked on. And her dad called her when the Wasson Center report made the news on all the stations in Northern Virginia. And she said, I realized I was part of something big that was actually making a difference in people's lives. And I quoted that. And the freshman, who said that Wasson was the thing that drew her here because it is amazing to be a part of a whole, quote, that is bigger than you are and makes a real difference. And the 2 neuroscience majors, with their huge course loads, love their Wasson work because they see the whole picture. They see how science leaders must also be active leaders in the world of policy and civic action, or science happens in a vacuum. And that's what we're here and all about. Creating a place where students figure out that nothing can happen in a vacuum. Everything is connected to everything else, and when our neuroscientists and teachers and policymakers and psychologists and performers and lawyers and social workers and business leaders leave here, the gift they take with them is that they know how they fit in this world and how to make things better. I have many more lessons to be learned between now and June 30th, I know it. But President Kelly, I promise you, sir, we will not take our foot off the gas, and we so look forward to handing you the keys. Madam Rector, I conclude my report.
Madam President, as always, thank you for being the eloquent storyteller. We need you to tell our story, and we so appreciate how you do it.
Thank you very
And
much.
to everyone here in the gallery, especially the students, thank you for giving her the content to tell the story. Because but for everyone in this room, the faculty, the staff, and the students, that report would not be as robust as it is. So thank you. Committee chairs, whew, I don't know what you're gonna talk about, but we're gonna. First committee report is Finance and Facilities by Bobby Hatton.
Thank you, Lindsay. And thank you, Delia, for your enthusiasm, commitment, and your love of this university, the students, its faculty, and this board. And we love you back, and we thank you. The Committee on Finance and Facilities, and I apologize for my throat. I got attacked with laryngitis last night. The Committee on Finance and Facilities received reports from Jennifer Latour and Christine Ledford on the status of our budget and finances and capital construction projects. Jennifer began with a legislative budget update. The House and Senate budgets are due out this Sunday. We expect two very different budgets. The House will likely adopt some form of the governor's new $1 billion tax cut proposal, both income tax and corporate tax. And as such, that budget will not have much money to spend. The Senate, on the other hand, will not fully adopt his tax cut, at least we hope. And as such, we will have money to spend. Jennifer walked us through the budget tracker, the spreadsheet, where we follow what we've requested, and that's in your board book under legislation. That shows you what we've requested and where things stand. With the state's 2-year biennial budget, we have a few FY 2024 increases that were approved in the last session, namely financial aid of $1,102,000, which is up from $175,000. And the community captains, which is now at $632,500, and that's the equivalent of a $12 million endowment. And that has been committed long-term by the General Assembly. This session, we're going to also ask for an additional infusion of $3.2 million into our unrestricted budget for operating funding in fiscal year 2024. Those expenses that we hope to cover with that money include things like utilities, inflation, and staff raises, and other needs of the university. As you will recall, the state approved a 5% raise in July 2022. And it's expected that the state budget will likely include another 5% increase in June 2023, and potentially another one by bonus in December. In addition to operating budget items, we've requested planning funding for the plant operations building, which is in the old grocery store building across the street. Some of you will remember that was Lou Smith's Grocery, then it became Rich's Grocery, and now it's just an old worn-out building. And it needs to be replaced. Chancellor Tribble has continued to lobby for us in Richmond and has advocated for both of these requests. And we're eagerly awaiting the disposition of the budget from the General Assembly as we continue this budget process. One state program has begun to have a significant impact on our revenue collections, and that's the Virginia Military Survivors and Dependents Education Program. This program is for spouses and children of military members who were killed in action or significantly disabled. The program requires institutions like Christopher Newport to waive tuition and mandatory fees for qualified students for up to 8 semesters. The program has increased from $300,000 where it was in fiscal year 2018 to now $2 million in foregone revenue for the current fiscal year. That's $2 million in lost tuition to Christopher Newport for these students. While this is a very worthy program and we're supportive of it, it's grown so much that we either need to need the state to fund the program, or we need to account for this lost in revenue when we set our tuition and fees in the next academic year. Tom provided a brief update of some bills of note in the General Assembly, and Jennifer reviewed the 6-month status of our auxiliary services, noting that the dining expenses for food have increased 30%. And that, again, is one of the things that could affect future tuition and fees. We have an annual resolution I'm going to present to you now, or I guess it's the termination of this report, on the accounts that are uncollectible. This year, those accounts are an astonishingly small $63,500, which is less than 1/2 of 1%. And that we'll recommend that to the board. We received a report from Christine Ledford on the status of the capital outlay program and our SWAM numbers. The Integrated Science Center Phase 3 is continuing to move along at a steady clip. You will recall that was $60 million that Governor Northam approved for us in December a year ago, to our surprise, when we had only asked for the architectural fees. The cost of that building, though, has increased from $60 to $90 million. There is another program in which Laban Holmes, the project architect, are finishing up the final design. The utility relocation is anticipated to begin in April, and a contractor will mobilize in June. This is an 80,000 square foot addition with a 25, we're going back to the science building. The science building is an 80,000 square foot addition with a 25-month construction schedule. The building will be completed and available in the fall of 2025. As you were advised in our meeting in November, this building, as many others, has been severely impacted by the cost escalation that I just mentioned. But thankfully, the governor included that increase in the funding for this budget. The new administration building is coming along as scheduled. The contractor's done a great job, even with rainy weather, and we're staying on target for that to be completed in September of 2023. There are several other infrastructure type projects, chiller plant, roofs, water heaters, boilers, that also have come in at prices that are higher than we had projected due to inflation. But just as in the case with our other project, the governor included those additional monies in the budget. So the increased costs for the Science Center and these expenses are not going to be subject to the debate in Richmond over the budget. Lastly, Christine presented the Small Women and Minority-Owned Business Report that we call SWAM. And that statewide goal for the university is 42%. But as of November 30th, we had a 48% of expenditures were being contracted to SWAM contractors, which is better than we projected. Not only has and not only that, the Commonwealth as a whole is just 29%, and the education section as a whole is at 36%. So we've done very well with the SWAM contracting. So congratulations to Christine and the team. And if you haven't had a chance to look at the drawings of the Science Center, they are absolutely breathtaking. It will probably be the most beautiful building on this campus. And thanking Jenny Lawson in advance. The building is going to be a great addition, and we look forward to and inhabiting it. Thank you all. That's the conclusion of my report, with the exception of the resolution, which you'll find in your documents. The resolution says as follows: whereas a certain number of outstanding university accounts receivable are past due, and internal attempts to collect the funds have been unsuccessful, and whereas these accounts have been assigned for collection to an outside collection agency, Credit Bureau, and the Virginia Department of Taxation Debt Set-Off Collection Program have also been unsuccessful, and whereas the Office of the Attorney General will only litigate claims in excess of $3,000 that the university believes are collectible, therefore be it resolved, the Board of Visitors hereby authorizes that certain past accounts receivable be written off the university's accounting records in the amount of $63,533.60, as detailed in the attachment. This resolution is presented to you from the Finance Committee, and Madam Rector, I ask that you call for a vote.
Thank you, Bobby. Are there any questions or discussion with regard to Resolution 1, cancellation of accounts receivable considered uncollectible? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. The Operations Audit and Risk Report is next on the agenda, and that is brought to us by Terry McKnight.
Thank you, Madam Rector. The Committee on Operations, Audit, and Risk heard reports from the Chief Information Officer, the Chief HR Officer, and the Internal Auditor. Andrew Crawford, our CIO, provided the committee with a very thorough overview of campus technology resources and services, including efforts to reduce risk and expand controls to address potential malware and ransomware issues. The committee also discussed IT initiatives, including continuing to secure applications and services with two-factor authentication, upgrading the Student Information System web interface, and collaborating with campus constituents in a variety of academic and administrative endeavors. We then received an update on the progress of the staff compensation study from Ashley Andrews, our Chief Human Resource Officer. As a reminder for the board, last fiscal year, we asked HR to partner with an outside consultant to conduct a compensation study on our classified and wage staff, more than 530 employees. This study resulted in more than 45% of our classified and wage staff receiving an increase. This year, we have asked HR to continue its efforts and evaluate our administrative and professional faculty staff position. This study is still underway, but initial results show that approximately 20% of these employees are behind our market target. The study will be completed by our April meeting. Faith Belote, our internal auditor, provided us with a status of her audit plan. The faculty recruitment and succession planning audit report has been completed and is with Jennifer Latour for her review. The student accounts and audit planning is underway. The StarRes software application audit fieldwork is in progress. The Maxion audit follow-up is progressing and is still on schedule for clearing audit points this spring. The disaster recovery planning audit has 4 open points that are currently targeted for completion by June. And the laboratory safety has 6 audit points complete with 8 remaining open, which are targeted for completion by our April meeting. And lastly, there was a small purchase charge card misuse that did occur, resulting in us terminating the employee. A process is in place to recover the immaterial dollar amount. Madam Rector, that does conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. For those of you who have never been to a meeting, nobody delivers an audit report with as much enthusiasm as Terry McKnight. Every time.
It is the most exciting. I know you guys are good.
We keep telling them it's a fun committee.
It is the best. We definitely enjoy ourselves.
That's right.
Terry, thank you. Our next committee report is going to be delivered by Steve Taft, and that is Academic Affairs.
Thank you very much, and I think that was so stimulating, I hate to follow you. The Academic Affairs Committee, of course, met this morning, and we had the opportunity to hear from the two chefs, the two best professors, the award in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I tell you what, if you haven't had the privilege of sitting and talking or hearing from either of these two folks, you should, because they're absolutely amazing. And what really solidified everything for me after hearing them is they had students of theirs there with them. And the way the students talked about the interaction and the engagement with both of their professors really showed you why they are the two best in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So we are very fortunate to have both of them. And tell you what, these two students, you just so engaging. And again, I could have listened to both of them talk all day long. So we're doing great work here. There's been a lot of faculty and academic accomplishments through grants and awards since our last board meeting. There's been over 450,000 in grants and awards that have come through, and as you remember, that number was really impressive at the last meeting we have. So the work continues. And I don't know how they have time to do it with their academic instruction, but they're still doing it and doing it at a very high level. So I condensed that part, Madam Rector, because we have several resolutions that we need to work through. And if you would like me, I'll begin with the first resolution.
Please do.
Okay, and, excuse me, Bobby, it's catching. The first resolution, Resolution 2, is the new degree program, the Bachelor of Arts degree in music. And you guys may remember, this is not the first time we've heard about this, but this is the final form of that. So I am not going to read every word of this resolution, but be it further resolved that the president shall take steps that might be necessary and appropriate to submit for the timely review and approval by the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia a formal proposal for the initiation of the Bachelor of Arts in Music at Christopher Newport University. So this is a consolidation and a step forward in the right direction for Christopher Newport University. So this does come from committee, and we recommend approval.
Thank you, Steve. Resolution 2, new degree program, Bachelor of Arts degree in music, comes at the recommendation of the Academic Affairs Committee. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2? I do not need a second.
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Resolution 3, and I realize that's odd because I started with 2, but 1 already happened. Resolution 3, which is a plan of compensation, whereas the governor's consolidated salary authorization for teaching and research staffs in institutions of higher education requires that the Board of Visitors shall establish a compensation plan for each year of the biennium in accordance with the provisions of legislative requirements. There's a lot of other things in here. There is a chart that has the rank, the minimum and maximum salaries, and it is set forth really well within this resolution, and the committee did approve this, and we recommend approval by the board.
Thank you for not reading the charts. Resolution 3, plans of compensation, comes at the recommendation of the Academic Affairs Committee. Are there any questions or discussion? Because it's coming out of committee, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 3? I do not need a second. So moved. Thank you. All in favor, please indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution 4?
Resolution 4, appointments to the instructional faculty. And therefore be it resolved that the following individuals have been appointed to the faculty of the university for the 2023-24 academic year. Connor Blake, instructor; Kelsey Cummins, assistant professor; Ashley Fournette, instructor; Earl Riggins III, lecturer; Vered Sakal, sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly, associate professor; and Zena Toe, instructor. And again, this came from committee. We recommend approval.
Thank you, Steve. Resolution 4, appointments to the instructional faculty, comes at the recommendation of the Academic Affairs Committee. Are there any questions or discussion? Because it's coming out of committee, I just need a motion to approve Resolution 4. I don't need a second.
So moved.
Thank you, Judy. All in favor of approving Resolution 4, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And that is it, with the exception of, I should have started with that it was Lee's committee. She had a conflict this morning, and I stepped in, but I would do it not the justice that Lee would do it. But thank you for giving me that opportunity.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And also, if I was an attorney, I would have read it word for word, because you get paid by.
That's a free shot.
Thank you, Steve, for presenting the academic affairs report. Our next report is.
Steve, that wasn't mine.
Was it mine?
Yes.
Okay.
You did, your student life.
Yeah, well, I stepped in for myself.
Well, at least today you went and read your own resolution, unlike a couple of months ago.
So why didn't Quentin correct you there? You're the boss.
All right, Lee, are you prepared to present your own report?
No, he is going to do mine because he was there this morning, but,
All right. So I stepped in for Lee this morning in the Student Life Committee, and we had great reports from staff, and again, I have to tell you, an amazing staff that's doing incredible things. And what is so difficult is for us to get information and discuss what's actually happening on campus and the amount of work. It is so hard to synthesize all the work that's going on. I'm going to try to do it justice here very quickly, but give it the credit that it deserves. That in admission, the number of applications, offers of admission, and enrollment deposits have been up through early decision and early action in comparison to the last 2 years. So the Office of Admission is on track to meet the university freshman class enrollment goals. The academic profile of our fall 2023 freshman admits is strong, with an average high school grade point average of 3.85 and an average SAT score of 1200. These metrics represent a slight increase over last year so far. The Office of Admissions is busy reading regular decision applications for final notification next month, and they continue recruiting off-campus and accommodating families on campus tours, student interviews, and events to simultaneously continue to yield this year's freshman class, while working on next year's class for 2024. In enrollment and student success, the success team finished the fall semester with an increase in overall student success support services. There were significant increases in tutoring appointments, captain's care referrals, and testing and academic accommodations provided by the Student Success Testing Center. More than 3,300 students engaged in the career platform Handshake, which is a 400% increase, and the Center for Career Planning posted nearly 44,000 jobs and internships. You heard a great report from our president of Maryland Community Captains, and they continue to thrive, but I don't think she went into this detail. Of the 25 enrolled in Community Captains from cohorts 1 and 2, 9 have a GPA over 3.0, 5 earned the Dean's List, 2 are Bonner Scholars, 1 is a Wasson Scholar, 1 is a Cannon Scholar, and 12 of these are first-generation college students. 9 are in the President's Leadership Program, and 2 are participating in undergraduate research. It's absolutely amazing, the Community Captains Program. In student affairs, the President's Leadership Program concluded a highly successful fall semester with 3 presentations of the Leadership Educators Institute in December. Their spring semester is off to a fast start with interviews in popular podcasts such as Lead and Follow, planning the Global Fellowship Conference with attendees from Canada, Germany, the UK, Pakistan, and Africa, and a new partnership with Sister Cities Newport News for an international service immersion experiences. Counseling numbers continue their upward trend. To date, unique client numbers are up 14%, and the average number of sessions per client has risen by 25%. Students needing accommodations are also increasing rapidly. Over 500 students qualified for accommodations in the fall 2022, and the previous high water mark was 396%. And on behalf of the committee and the board, I know I mentioned to the staff and to the rector about us having a presentation on the mental health challenges of our students. And it's been several years since the full board received that presentation. And although I'm in my last year and I probably will not be dealing with or helping to make decisions in any way, the board going forward is going to have to be aware of these challenges, and we're going to have to make some tough decisions, hard decisions, good decisions in order to take care of our young people and some of the challenges that they are going through. So I'm thankful that that is going to happen next time, that presentation, because we need to know the facts before we can even start chatting about it and planning for the future. So, Madam Rector, thank you for that, and Adelia, thank you for that.
Thank you,
And that's
Steve.
my report.
Thank you for your.
Madam Rector, may I add something?
Absolutely.
I would have to just share these posters that the Community Captains program is now producing for each of the high schools, and they reflect someone that, one of the students that is already attending the school, so that are already attending CNU. So when our students walk into their high school, into an Achievable Dream Middle and High School, they will see someone that is already a community captain on campus. And they just turned out wonderful. I was thrilled to see these. I also must share that she just gave me a little bit of sneak peek information that Achievable Dream will have 7 community captains admitted for out of the senior class this year at Achievable Dream. So I'm a little thrilled about that.
Thank you, Lee, for that.
Thank you.
And Rob and Kevin and Lisa, as always, thank you for your hard work. Recruitment and retention of captains is why we're all here. The buildings are beautiful, the Great Lawn is gorgeous, but without the students, we have no reason to be sitting in this room. So thank you for your hard work. Are you two done now? I just want to make sure that no more.
I think I have another committee report somewhere.
Thank you very much. Advancement. Judy, would you please present your report?
Thank you. With half of the fiscal year and 1 month into the third quarter behind us, we are right where we need to be, just halfway point, and the fiscal year over $3.7 million in new gifts and pledges. In addition, we have over 20 requests pending or that will be made shortly, ranging from $10,000 to $2 million. These will close by the end of the fiscal year and ensure we will surpass our goal. Our goals for the year are $6 million in new gifts and pledges and 12% in alumni participation. As a reminder, our 12% goal now is akin to an 18% goal in past years. The industry's best practice standards and rules have been constantly revised over the last 3 years regarding alumni giving, how it's calculated. Our advancement team is looking for new reports, at new reports in addition to alumni giving, to offer a cleaner and more comprehensive measure of both support and engagement. Alumni participation from January 2023 is slightly higher than where we were at the end of January 2022. With the return of a full schedule of alumni chapter activities, CNU Day, and our senior class gift campaign in the spring, we will reach our goal. And regarding a number of important programs and initiatives that our president mentioned earlier, the Wasson Center, the Torgler Center, Ferguson Center, and athletics, all these have major gift solicitation and events in the coming weeks that will also contribute to our fundraising success at the end of the fiscal year, both in alumni donors and dollars. That's a happy thing. I want to express our appreciation to the advancement team for their achievements this far. And I want to thank you for all the good that you do as board members to support CNU, but also to support every student on this campus. Thank you.
Judy, thank you for the report. Thank you for all that you do. Our next report is the Faculty Senate report from Rachel Holland.
Good afternoon. Any new news? I mean, what's going on this week? I don't know. I know the winter doldrums are upon us, but certainly campus feels anything but boring, right? Yesterday was a historic day on our campus and the beginning of new directions for our beloved university. The excitement is palpable, and the promise of new leadership brings with it a new hope for the future. When we last met in this very room on November 18th, the anxiety and trepidation that marked the anticipation of the selection of a new president was a dialogue that permeated this campus. At that time, the Faculty Senate, led by the Executive Committee, approached the rector in hopes of creating a stronger and more meaningful relationship with the board, and to urge the board to consider allowing faculty to participate in the final selection process in a significant way to lay the foundation for an authentic relationship with our new president. A request I am thrilled to report was wholeheartedly embraced by this board. Our pleas were not only heard, but were given thoughtful consideration, which resulted in the invitation for Dr. Tatiana Rizova and I to participate in the final selection of our new president, an invitation that was not extended to any other constituency on campus. The significance of that invitation and the message that it sends to faculty cannot be understated. We are grateful for that outcome, and we are encouraged that this is the start of a renewed commitment to shared governance and a strong partnership between the board and the faculty. I was pleased to report to faculty that throughout the process, my perspective was not only tolerated, but actively sought. And during those intense days, I felt not only welcomed, warmly welcomed, but that the faculty perspective was truly valued and an integral part of the deliberations. So on behalf of faculty, I simply want to say thank you to everyone in this room for making that possible. A new day is upon us. The coming weeks of transition will be so important for setting the tone for a new and exciting vision. The days ahead offer us an opportunity to put our words into action and to live the values that we cherish. Our new president will need the support of the campus community to ensure his success because, as we have already heard today and as we have been saying all along, his success is our success. Faculty are committed to those values and to this university. I can pledge to you my personal commitment to laying a strong foundation for productive and positive relationship between our new president and the faculty. I know that faculty are eager to begin engaging in meaningful ways and look forward to the days ahead expectantly and with enthusiasm. President Kelly, the faculty welcome you. We are ready to roll up our sleeves and let's get to work.
Rachel, thank you.
My pleasure.
And on behalf of the board, again, thank you and Tatiana for your, not just the time, because you all spent countless hours with us, sequestered in various places, but your thoughtful and deliberate approach to delivering the faculty's preferences, the faculty's voice, all while trying to cooperate and collaborate with the board. And we have pledged to you, and we will continue that pledge, and we will enact on that pledge, that there will be some shared governance that we have never had before, and we will work together to ensure the success of our next president. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am going to, I have added one item to the agenda, and that is our Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion recently met, and they had not met in about a year. So I have asked Regina to report to the board how that meeting went.
Absolutely, and I just want to say a couple things. One, this is the President's Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and so we will be working very closely. And I know you trust me, so I'm getting ready to say that we're going to do a pinky finger promise that by the end of this year, people are going to be jockeying to get on this committee. They want to be included in what we're going to be doing. And so, yes, this was the first meeting. This is a new committee for me, and also a new committee, I think, for a couple people who are on there. And and there's a lot going on with this committee, so I was pleasantly surprised because I've been involved with DEI initiatives in a lot of different spaces, and so I was just really pleased to see the integral nature of the work that's being done. That's why I know people are going to want to be involved. So a couple of things on the state level. Governor Youngkin has appointed Martin D. Brown as the Chief Diversity, Opportunity, and Inclusion Officer. And you'll note that they've included the word opportunity. And so there was a meeting of statewide chief diversity officers, and our diversity officer, Vidal, was there. And so I'm really quoting a lot of his notes here. But one of the things that was emphasized was the whole idea that there's a key component that the state would like to see, which is that we're advancing the workforce in such a way that we become best in class, on a state level. And so the idea is that it's, we're high-performing and effective organizations, and so their priorities in the area of DOI are entrepreneurship, economic opportunity, free speech and civil discourse, interfaith cooperation, and inclusive decision-making in education. And then on the university level, a couple of events that happened that, I didn't get to attend these, but they sound fantastic. One was that we had the 2023 MLK celebration, which focused on Dr. King's work, where do we go from here, chaos or community. There was some creative art presentations. Dr. Jeffrey Smith, who's the superintendent of Hampton City Schools, spoke, and there were choral performances by Bethel and Phoebus High School. And I want to deviate because I understand that Adelia did the most wonderful remarks that were so heartfelt that they were brought forward to our committee as to she truly could have been the keynote. And we know how well Adelia creates a narrative and tells a story. So I am so sorry to have missed those, but Adelia, I want to once again emphasize that you represented the university extremely well in that setting. Some other things that have happened in terms of learning and development efforts, which are professional workshops. And when you hear these, this will give you a sense of how CNU is embracing DEI. So there have been workshops on religious diversity in the workplace, advancing campus community trust, beyond buzzwords, focusing on inclusive language, disability etiquette and education, and inclusive mentoring and coaching. So you can see this DEI initiative just crosses a number of different perspectives and sectors. And then also the undergraduate DEI inclusion research grants, which are really kind of exciting. We have two recipients, Sarah Poole, who's majoring in English and theater, she's an English and theater major, and Nashara Richardson, who's majoring in Spanish and leadership. So they've got some research grants, which I think is exciting. CNU will also partner with the Virginia Department of Education and the Urban League of Hampton Roads to remedy the decline in student learning due to the pandemic. So a tutoring and mentoring program has been developed involving Virginia HBCUs, and even though CNU is not an HBCU, we have been tapped to provide tutoring and mentoring to support high school students within Newport News and Hampton City Schools. Let's see what else. We have fall student programming and leadership efforts were reviewed. There are 3 newly established student organizations, the Disabled Student Union, We Care Women's Empowerment Group, and the Minority Association of Pre-Med Students. SHEV has also awarded 2 supplemental grants, $5,000 to support the urgent needs of students that may experience housing and food insecurity while enrolled, and $2,500 to implement the Constructive Dialogue Institute, which is a statewide effort promoting civil discourse and collaborative learning. And then on the faculty side, in terms of publications and research awards, Dr. Gwen Brown and Dr. Catherine Cole received a Centera Cares Award in the amount of $95,000 to help pre-health students from underrepresented groups. And Dr. Johnny Finn received a $5,500 supplemental award to showcase his project focusing on the long-term effects of racist housing policies. His multimedia display can be found in the Virginia Museum of Contemporary Art through February 5th. So as you can see, there's a lot going on in this space, and we're going to have a good time doing this. And so that is our report.
Regina, thank you. President Kelly, the Board of Visitors does appoint 2 members of the board to sit on your council. So in the next year, you and I will work together to make that future appointment. Lee Vreeland is our other board member who sits with Regina on that council. So thank you both. Okay, Our next report is going to be the student government report. This is usually the most exciting thing. Celine, sorry. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Madam Director. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy to see you all, as always, and give my student life SGA report. This spring semester has been off to a great start. I wrote in my report that the weather this week hasn't really been that great, but as I'm looking outside, the sun came out, so maybe my words changed the weather or something. And so we're going to persevere through the cold weather, and spring is coming soon, and I know a lot of my fellow classmates like to hang out on the great lawn during the springtime and study out there, play with their dogs, etc. Before I begin my report, I just wanted to say that I, about an hour ago, had the privilege and honor of having lunch with our new president, Admiral Kelly, and his wife. And to the board and everyone a part of that search committee, wow, I am very impressed. That was an amazing lunch. I did not want it to end. I had a great time with my fellow classmates, and Kenneth, you too as well. That was great. So moving on to my update, Regina just touched on the Presidential Diversity Council, but I just wanted to add that my fellow classmates and I that sit on the council, we're all excited to meet with the council and hear their updates, as this was the first time in a year that we were all able to meet. We thought that the meeting went very well, and Vidal gave some great updates on new programming that we will be seeing, as well as things pushed down from Richmond. So we are very excited for all of those programming that is coming up, as well to see what we can accomplish with the council for the rest of this semester. On the student government side, this week we hosted our Meet the Counselors event. This was an interactive event. Students were able to meet counseling staff and learn about the services provided by our counseling staff. The event went very smoothly, and I would like to add that we made it on the front of the captain's log, so that's awesome. Some of my classmates and fellow student government delegates will be attending the Ignite Social Change Institute this weekend. This is a retreat that will consist of very many small and large group discussions on social change as well as inclusivity. SGA is also working on a food accessibility survey to find out as well as help students understand the resources that we have available for them. And coming up on March 14th, we are hosting our annual Staff Appreciation Day. This is a very important day for students on campus, as we just like to take the time to thank our faculty and staff for all their hard work and dedication that they have to our campus. And finally, student government this week is inducting 5 new delegates to our team, so that's very exciting for us. And on the Anchor Org side, Campus Activities Board is always hard at work putting on amazing events. During the fall semester, they served almost 1,600 students, and they engaged with them by giving them festive activities such as ornament making, hot chocolate bars, and personal photos. IFC and Panhellenic completed their rush. IFC had 66 P&Ms accept bids, while Panhellenic had 81 accept some bids. Our Student Honor Council is working hard with the Checks office, serving our disciplinary boards, as well as they've been working with the Checks staff to ensure that students are adequately trained. Student Honor Council is also planning their annual Honor Week in April. This is what they use to explain their outreach that they have to campus, as well as share their purpose about our honor code on campus. Student Honor Council has also up to 28 members, which is the biggest class they have ever had. Thank you all for listening to my updates, but I just wanted to let you guys know, next time we meet, I will be able to share with you all big news on who our next student government president will be, and I will also introduce he or she. But before I end, Madam Director, I would like to introduce Matilda. She is a senior neuroscience major with a leadership minor. She is also in the PLP program and a pre-med scholar program. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Celine.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. I'm really excited to be able to share my senior story, my senior experience. So my name is Matilda Pammy George. I'm a senior from Manassas Park, Virginia, so up in Northern Virginia. I'm majoring in neuroscience with a minor in leadership studies, and I'm on the pre-med track. I want to first again thank you all for giving me this opportunity to share my story and my senior experience. Born to African parents who immigrated to America and growing up with 4 siblings in the small city of Manassas Park, family and community have played a constant and important role in my life. At Manassas Park, we have only one school system, and as a result, I went to school with the same group of peers since first grade until my senior year graduation. We created a tight-knit bond with familial atmosphere of friendships and relationships that I hold dearly to my heart. And as I began my college search process, I knew that genuine community was a quality I was looking for in my future university. Furthermore, as I aspired to become a physician, I also knew that I needed to be in a place where I could be challenged and excel academically, and have ample opportunities for my pre-med journey. As I considered my options, including other competitive schools like UVA and William & Mary, CNU had the perfect mix of a supportive community and rigorous academics that I was looking for. During admitted freshman day in April 2019, the CNU spirit truly captured my heart. I remember sitting in the Diamond Sing Concert Hall and suddenly hearing the booming sounds of the drum line and the instruments of the marching captains as they made their way down the aisles. I saw the cheerleaders shaking their blue and silver palms in excitement. Best of all, I saw our very own Captain Chris dancing on stage. And as I sat back in my seat, watching this scene unfold before my eyes, I knew right then and there that this is where I would spend the next 4 years of my life. And in these past 4 years, I've grown. I've been challenged. I've met new people and had new experiences, all of which have made me a better person, friend, student, future physician, and of course, captain. I first found my community through joining the CNU Women's Club soccer team, where I was able to play the sport that I love at a competitive level with people who made it so much fun. Later during my freshman year, I began serving as a volunteer in the neurology department at Riverside Regional Medical Center, and where I gained a valuable understanding of hospital mechanics. This was especially useful to me in the following academic year when I became a nationally certified emergency medical technician. With this certification, I began to serve as an EMT at my current service site, Isle of Wight Volunteer Rescue Squad, located in Smithfield, Virginia. And as an EMT, I provided medical care and attention to patients in a wide variety of emergency medical conditions. Being able to provide patient care has helped me confirm my love for medicine through utilizing my knowledge, abilities, and empathy to be a source of relief for my patients. It's wonderful to be able to apply the material I've learned in class in encounters with my patients. I've had a rich academic experience during my time at CNU, especially as I've advanced upper-level biology and neuroscience classes. I've gained a greater appreciation for and fascination of the human brain, one of the most complex and powerful organs in the human body. The great part about being at CNU is that I'm able to participate in undergraduate research to further engage in investigating the brain outside of class. As a research assistant in the neuroanatomy lab of Dr. Darlene Bertrano, I've learned so many practical and scientific skills that have and will continue to prepare me for my medical journey. As co-founder and president of the Minority Association of Pre-Medical Students, also known as MAPS, established last spring, I created a space for CNU students of minority and underrepresented backgrounds pursuing the fields of medicine, health, and STEM to engage in community, opportunity, mentorship, and scholarship. It's fulfilling to see the members of this organization come together to interact and engage, share their experiences, and provide advice. I've also been able to work collaboratively with the MAPS leadership team and CNU's pre-health department to secure funding for different projects for our MAPS chapter and provide opportunities for our chapter to be engaged with the national organization. This organization holds a special place in my heart, knowing that this foundational place exists for this population of students at CNU. And with a variety of class years involved, from freshmen to seniors, I'm optimistic about its continued legacy at CNU. Above all, this organization makes clear my passion for creating connections with others and engaging in community. Therefore, it gives me great joy to be able to help others find this community as well. Working in the Office of Orientation and Student Involvement for the past 2 years, and working as a leadership adventure facilitator this past summer, I've been able to help incoming and current students find their community and make their home here on our campus. As a student ambassador, I am able to personify the Christopher Newport spirit to prospective students and families to show them that they can have a home here as well. From all that I've learned in these past 4 years, I know that I'm more confident and more capable than I was prior to college, and I've seen you to thank for that. As I look forward to my commencement this May, as well as opportunities that await me afterwards, I can say with confidence and pride that I'm living a life of significance. Thank you once again for this opportunity to provide insight on the student experience at Christopher Newport University. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for sharing your story, and I think we would all agree you're already leading a life. Absolutely. Celine, as always, thank you for your report. President Kelly, Mrs. Kelly, we told you we were going to deliver you the best and brightest, and I don't think you could have ever even imagined that. Thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, the next item of business on our agenda is to go into closed session under Freedom of Information Act as amended, section 2.2-3711A1, personnel. I would like to entertain a motion to enter closed session under said section.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Thank you to everyone who was in the gallery today. We appreciate you.
please hold the board. Richard Gray?
Steve Cass.
Yes.
John Lawson.
Yes.
Terry McKnight.
Yes.
Kelly Meadows.
Yes.
Sean Miller.
Yes.
Larry Pope.
Yes.
Lee Breland.
Lee Breland.
Yes. Next meeting will be bad.
All right, thank you two. Down there, that's right. Yes, you're still there. Resolutions 5 through 7 came at the recommendation of the Academic Affairs Committee during closed session. We're going to go ahead and take this as a block. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 5?
So moved.
Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 6?
So moved.
Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 7?
So moved.
No second is needed as it's coming out of committee. Please indicate your approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Any other business to come before the board? Well, President Kelly, you have completed your first board visit. With that, thank you all. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you for your time, your talents, and your treasures. And we will convene again in just a few short months. Thank you.
Thank you.